Hello there again. I'm now into day 9 of my quarantine. But by day 3, I begin to embrace the rhythm. I rise as soon as sunlight streams into the window that I cannot open. I wait the 8 a.m. doorbell. Then I pause for a moment to give the man on the other side to move sufficiently far away. Then I retrieve the box of food left outside. I retreat and I eat. Twice more in the day, we will repeat this so-called dance. The rest of the time, I'll be alone, confined to the 200 square feet hotel room that the Singapore government has ordered me not to leave for 2 weeks. I do not have the coronavirus, at least not as far as I can tell. But I am part of the government's new initiative to combat a recent uptick in coronavirus cases. These new measures came after Singapore had earned a lot of praise, especially in the global media, for its early successes in stemming the spread of the virus. I remember that in late January, Singapore moved to ban Chinese visitors and foreigners who had recently traveled to China. They're banned from entering the country. They mobilized teams of contact tracers who grilled coronavirus patients for hours to connect the social dots of how the contagion may have spread. And so, in the early weeks of March, this island city-state of, I think it's under 6 million people, they had just 160 plus reported cases, with about 90 plus patients having been treated and discharged. Now, I think no country can truly be an island. However, that number soon crept up again. It was fueled by droves of Singaporeans and permanent residents escaping the coronavirus onslaught elsewhere. On March 24th alone, the country reported 49 new COVID-19 cases, of which 32 were imported, bringing the total to, I think it's about 500 plus cases. Now that's when Singapore mandated that all travelers arriving from overseas would have to undergo a mandatory 2 weeks stay home notice, or what we call SHN. It's a period that is to be served in lodgings chosen and paid for by the government. Now, in the face of these rising numbers, the Singapore government announced it would close most workplaces and schools, just like everyone else, shifting to home-based learning while restricting social gatherings and encouraging Singaporeans to remain at home as much as possible. My return to Singapore was not self-initiated. Even as a child, I had bristled at Singapore's strict and multitudinous laws that address everything from flushing the toilet to flying a kite in a way that obstructs traffic. Now, in 2011, I left for Indonesia. I was determined to carve out a new life in which free speech and civil liberties were at least more tolerable. Over the years, I had come to think of those freedoms as essentially basic, that are natural and necessary. Now, as a foreigner in Indonesia, I run a social enterprise, and As a result, I was granted 60 days free visa each time I entered the country. However, on the 1st of April this year, the government issued laws that granted foreigners emergency stay permits for an undetermined time. Now, this was revoked on 13th of July, and foreigners under free visa stay was given about 30 days to leave the country. And here I was now, involuntarily stepping into an indefinite future in which I'll be subjected to an ever-growing list of laws and initiatives designed to fight the virus. Citizens, for example, recently they have been encouraged to download a new contact tracing app that uses wireless Bluetooth technology to continuously identify. The idea is that this would help people to identify people who had been within 2 meters with a coronavirus patient for at least 30 minutes. The SHN, as we call them, they come with many rules. Of course, the 3-page information sheet that greeted us in the room began with a cheerful welcome home before launching into a list of penalties. Twice a day, I get a WhatsApp call requiring me to verify my whereabouts. On occasions, I have to take a photograph of myself as well as my surroundings to prove I am where I am supposed to be. Then, my phone's GPS has to be on so that I can be tracked. The hotel even provided a thermometer on the first day here, so I could take my temperature twice a day and report immediately if a fever was detected. And each day at 3 p.m., without fail, the hotel called me to ask for my temperature reading. Now, in addition to the text messages, I get a daily phone call from the hotel checking to see how I'm feeling. On day 4, when the upbeat voice on the other end asked if I was finding if the food has improved, I found myself wondering how much of social media was being monitored. Why? Because I just bemoaned the quality of meals on Instagram. And indeed, a revised information sheet that was sent the night before included a paragraph advising us, quote unquote, do not speculate and or spread falsehoods and rumors on social media. Now, to be sure, we are not enduring any true hardships here. There had been unexpected moments of levity. A growing band of us, having found one another on Instagram, and we are like secret revolutionaries reaching out for others in captive kingship. We marvel at one another's photos and we bitterly circulate pictures of beautiful meals that we are unable to eat. At one resort, a flautist and a violinist in quarantine had been giving impromptu concerts on their balconies. Now, in these times, I've learned the weight of such minutiae. When I shared tidbits of my day so far in the quarantine, many American friends have been shocked at that hundreds of people would so unquestioningly submit to being confined and monitored in such a fashion. My own response to this has even astonished me. I have found myself vociferously defending and explaining my country's draconian quarantine strategy. So perhaps it's true that you can take the man out of Singapore, but you can never take Singapore out of the man. The foundation of my native country was built with an emphasis on placing family above self, society above family, country above society, and so forth. I may have rebelled against this before, but in these times, I am increasingly convinced that even a dollop of this ethos is going to be what ends up saving us all. Bye everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy.